Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, my name is Laurée and I am going through all 144 sun-moon combinations, what they look like individually and what they look like in a pair interacting with each other. So today we're going to be talking about Sagittarius Sun and Scorpio Moon. I'm going through all of Sagittarius season as the moon changes and the transits unfold and covering what those pairings look like in a person. And so the moon just entered Scorpio yesterday at about 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and so any child or kitten that is born between then and sometime Saturday will have a Sagittarius Sun and a Scorpio Moon. So we're going to talk about what that looks like. But first, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time that I make a video. You're going to be wanting to do that if you're interested in the upcoming transits like the full solar eclipse, as well as the great conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter. I'm going to be covering both of those this weekend, so stay tuned for that. I also leave a link in the description to my private Facebook group where you can learn even more about astrology and interact with yours truly directly. So let's dive into today's video. So I'm going to be talking about what a Sagittarius looks like typically, and then what the Scorpio Moon looks like, and then how those kind of interact and what it may change with either placement. So if you have a Sagittarius Sun, then you are fun, optimistic, idealistic. You're a very big picture sort of person. And because of this, like, you are very big picture, so you like to find the deeper meaning in life. And because of this, you tend to kind of neglect some details in your life, maybe some day-to-day responsibilities, because they just don't feel that important to you in the grand scheme of things. Sagittarians are also known for not being very punctual, and again, it comes from just being so wrapped up in this big picture and looking at the deeper meaning and philosophical aspect of life that to them other things just don't seem as important. They have a great sense of humor, and that's another part of it, is they see the humor in things because they're looking for greater deeper meaning in life, and so just they can't take everything so seriously because they see that there's just far more to take, like there's way more serious things in life than getting offended about little things. And so they like to see the humor in everything and not take everything so seriously. And they're also very blunt and honest, and so but they usually do it in a humorous way, and so they have a tendency to kind of offend people but do it very jokingly. Now, Sagittarians are also known for being very adventurous, and again, that comes to the wanting to find meaning and stuff. So they don't go on adventures just for the sake of adventures. There is usually a purpose and a meaning behind it, and so they love going on adventures. Sagittarians are known for loving to travel and explore new lands, and they will, put themselves through very difficult circumstances if they think that they will learn something meaningful from it. I'm a Sagittarius Moon and I have an Aries Sun, so that is very much myself as well. And Sagittarius placements in general, and it depends on the Venus sign, that can play a role, but generally speaking, Sagittarians love their freedom so much and their individuality is very important to them, so they have a hard time settling down, especially settling down like in a relationship with one person. They really don't want that ball and chain. They just want to do what they want to do, right? And so they can get in relationships, and again, it depends on the Venus and Moon, but they can get in those, but they really like to make sure that who they are going to be committing themselves to or just being in a relationship with, even just casual, they want to make sure that that person can keep up with them and go on adventures with them or have those philosophical discussions with, or at the very least not impede on their ability to do so. So now we get to the Scorpio Moon. So Scorpio Moons are very intense, passionate, driven, and observant. I like calling Scorpio placements in general like the Spitfire of water signs, because they are of a watery sign, but they're actually a little fiery for a water sign, right? Because they're very intense and passionate and driven, right? And so they are able to overcome challenges and hurdles that are thrown their way. They are quite different than the other water placements like Pisces and Cancer, which have a tendency. So the negative tendency of Pisces and Cancer is that they tend to kind of victimize themselves a little bit, like because they're very watery and emotional, and if they're offended or betrayed or hurt in some way, they're more likely to kind of roll over and take it a little bit. Maybe they'll end up taking it out on other people through like passive aggressiveness or manipulation, but they tend to kind of victimize themselves a little bit, and Scorpio is not like that at all. They are far more likely to seek revenge if they are betrayed because they are very passionate and driven and getting what they want, but they're also a water sign, so they do have a lot of like passionate watery emotions, but they don't paint themselves as victims, I think, ever. So they're very persistent and they have a lot of willpower, and they tend to have, especially the moons, tend to have this kind of mysterious vibe about them. They're easily able to mask how they truly feel. So what you may see with the Sagittarius Sun is that they're, you know, the fun Sagittarius and they want adventures, but underneath the surface, they're actually quite brooding and emotional. And it may come across hypocritical with this pair because they are so... Scorpios are known for being jealous and possessive, and so it's interesting because Sagittarius is not like that, and Scorpio also does not like being controlled. So Sagittarius and Scorpio both do not like being controlled or possessed, but the Scorpio moon would be doing that. So it may come across kind of hypocritical in that they're jealous and possessive themselves, but they don't want that to be on the receiving end. So Scorpio moons, again, the negative tendency is the jealousy and possessiveness. They can slip into being very brooding, and they don't forgive easily, and they tend to hold a grudge. And it's not like the whole other water signs where they hold a grudge and wait to be like snippy or passive aggressive. No, they kind of more methodical about planning their revenge. So don't fuck over a Scorpio or Scorpio moon. So now with this pairing, having a Scorpio moon, I feel like are going to be far less optimistic and idealistic than a typical Sagittarius, and they're definitely going to be more attached in relationships than a typical Sagittarius, because usually Sagittarius can they're like the kings and queens of ghosting, and they can drop someone like a hot sack of potatoes when they feel like their freedom is being infringed on. But a Scorpio moon is far less likely to do that because they do get very attached and get jealous and possessive. And I feel like the Sagittarius will still have the good sense of humor, but I feel like it'll be kind of a dark sense of humor because of the Scorpio moon, and that one of the ways this pairing is able to kind of process their deep dark emotions and kind of their broodiness is through humor, because that's really how Sagittarius deals with everything. And if they have that really emotional Scorpio moon that has all of these like kind of feelings and sometimes maybe angst, they can process that through humor. And the other thing though is I think the Scorpio moon will help with the Sagittarians follow through, because the Sagittarius kind of bounces from project to project or thing to thing because they're very impatient. A Scorpio though has a lot of persistence and that willpower I talked about, and they're very driven, and they are very kind of, when they set their sights on something, they are more inclined to follow through with that. So I do think that will help with Sagittarius quite a bit. So that is all I have planned for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more. I will be covering Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Moon coming up this weekend, as well as the upcoming transits. So if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when those videos come out, and check the link in the description for my private Facebook group. I am planning a free astrology training. It's going to be really good, so make sure that you join the group so you can check it out and know when it's released. So take care, and I will be back later with more videos.